Welcome to Yogaxpress, the mobile stretch clinic that takes yoga to the people. Before I go and introduce a really, truly wonderful guest today, Amy Harlib, I have a lot to say about her. So I'm going to give a few pointers of where you can watch Amy on our show. Yogaxpress airs Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. That's 1:30 in the afternoon on Time Warner 57, RCN 84, and FiOS 35. Now, we do have a program that airs every day. Today is just one of those very special days where we will not necessarily be doing the basic stretches that we usually do. Typically, what we do is pick some of these basic stretches from a sequence called 48 plus. They are 48 simple ailment-specific stretches, and we put them into little categories: twists, forward folds, bends. We help you speak to your body every day for about half an hour, so stay with us. We will send you a free postcard to help you. We have a lot of support for you. We'll also send you a fridge magnet with the sequence and a business card with the sequence on the back. One way or another, you're assured of having a lot of support from us, so no excuses not to stretch. Stretch with us. Just a little word of warning though, what Amy is going to do today is not what you would want to do on a typical day as part of your daily yoga stretches. Amy is a yoga contortionist and a dancer, and she has choreographed wonderful theme-based dances using yoga postures. Amy has a lot of yoga stretching experience. I do not, and I cannot stress this enough, I do not want any of you out there to try what Amy is trying unless you have as much experience as she does. Having said that, just a little bit of a commercial. This is a book called Yoga Secrets. It's one of my latest books, well, as late as 2008. It has 8 ailment-specific cards inside, 8 ailment-specific sequences, which you can practice on a daily basis. None of them come close to what Amy can do. I'm going to give Amy the cue to get started in another minute or so, but before I do that, I would like to introduce the amazing Amy Harlib. Amy is 55, and she has spent most of her life studying various forms of movement and physical theater. She became attracted to Chinese martial arts, acrobatics, and yoga in the early 1980s. She parlayed that into a solo performance career that took her to Taiwan and back to her native New York City environs to perform in a wide variety of venues. I'm going to clear the stage because Amy is going to perform to some nice soft music. She's going to perform a beautiful dance called the Yoga Odyssey, and very carefully, right on camera, I'm going to remove the 2 yoga mats so we can clear the space for Amy. And Jabari, if you don't mind, would you change the music? The music that inspires Amy a lot more when she performs. And we also have a wonderful audience here. Amy's used to performing pictured before. Yoga Yenta, performed to live klezmer music and sprinkled with verbal Yiddishisms. Jedi Yoga, a Star Wars themed yoga act. Yoga Tango, tribal yoga, contortion and belly dance combined. Wow, I can just imagine how that's going to be. Amy, we will have you back on our show. Some of our other efforts, other themes are spooky yoga for Halloween on Friday the 13th, Yuletide yoga, Christmas time yoga, yoga anime, contortion to music from Japanese anime features, techno trance, yoga dance, that name says it all, Yoga Cougar, where she flirts outrageously with the audience to Pink Panther themed music, hot pink feather boa included, yoga blues, jazzy yoga, and much, much more. Amy is an avid reader of science fiction and fantasy literature, art and graphic novels, and she loves to indulge in her passion for reading and cinema, especially the silent clowns. Other interests include cats, Star Trek and Star Wars, archaeology, anthropology, paleontology, folklore and mythology, genre films, science for intelligent laypersons, memoirs and narratives as literature. When it comes to yoga, she is flexible in every sense of the word and quite willing to travel as well. So if you would like Amy to perform at one of your events, contact her at aharlib@earthlink.net or visit Amy at www.idanz.com/aharlib. Amy happily welcomes intelligent feedback about the genre and the arts, as I said before, and she is willing to perform wherever you need her to perform. Beautiful, Amy. That's wonderful.
Incredible.
Isn't she great?
Amazing.
She is amazing. Keep going with the music, Jabari. It's inspiring Amy. She's going into really zany postures now. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. That was fabulous. Did you need that table you were going to do?
That was for a special demonstration at the end. I can
At
do
the
it
end.
now.
Let's do that. So, you ready for your questions? I have a million questions running through my head. No, we can do that later. You want to do that now? Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get our rugs back. I have a million questions going through my head. I just have to ask you. Come on, you're with us. You're with me. I'm going to give you the red one. You can take the red one and maybe switch places. We're okay. We're on camera. Everyone knows this is a special performance. They're going to forgive us for the small interruption of putting our mats back. But Amy, I have to ask you this question before I forget. Honestly, have you ever got stuck in one of these postures?
Never.
That is the magic of Amy. Amy, you are simply amazing. You were just amazing. It was a delight to watch you.
Thank you so much.
It was really wonderful. Tell me something. How long have you been practicing yoga?
I've been practicing yoga for over 30 years.
Okay, folks, there's a lesson right there. If you want to get to step 100, try not to skip 1 through 99. Amy has been practicing for 30 years. So maybe in 30 years from now, you can try and do a little bit of what Amy's doing. But please, tell us a little more. How did you get started?
Well, as a teenager, I was taking ballet, jazz, and modern dance like so many other young ladies do.
Right.
And I found it boring. It wasn't challenging enough for me. And so I got interested in doing acrobatics and gymnastics and yoga. And that was how I got started as late in my teens, switching entirely from dance to acrobatics, gymnastics, and yoga. And even that wasn't enough. And so in the early 1980s, I discovered Chinese wushu, or martial arts, which actually is an art form that combines everything. Advanced wushu does require acrobatics, gymnastics, and yoga flexibility. And so I decided I would devote the rest of my life to performing that. But in 1994, out of obsessive-compulsive passion for my performances, I was doing the most extreme physical movement you could imagine. I was not sleeping enough, I was not eating enough, and my body was not getting enough nutrition and enough rest, and I sustained injuries that tore both rotator cuffs in my shoulders, disintegrated a disc in my spine. My left hip became so arthritic that by 1998 I had a left hip replacement. I recently have developed bursitis in my left knee from a fall that I sustained in just this past January. And but I never stopped doing yoga. I had to stop doing the acrobatics and the gymnastics. My arms will never be able to support my body weight the way they used to. I cannot do the extreme back bends that I used to do. That's gone forever. But I never stopped doing yoga. And I was retired from performing for 15 years.
What do you mean retired?
I just wasn't performing at all. After I sustained this shoulder and spine injuries in 1994, I stopped performing. And I thought I was never going to perform again.
That would be entirely our
The
loss.
doctors thought I was disabled, actually, from the kind of injuries that I had. But I never stopped doing yoga. And after 15 years of depression, misery, and frustration not performing, I realized that I was still doing advanced yoga and that, okay, I couldn't be the martial art spectacle solo entertainer I once was, but I could create something out of the yoga, and that's what I did. I decided I would use the yoga that I had left, the remnant of my previous performing career.
I have to stop you right there. If this is the remnants of what you know,
this is the
I'm afraid even
what
to think of what
to
you could do. Oh my God. It was amazing. What you just did today, the Yoga Odyssey, was amazing, and I'm really, really happy that you are here with us. I have never seen, honestly, and we're going on air, and I'm saying this, you know, with a very straight face, and it's honest, it's really true. I've never seen such an amazing performance. It was just a 5 to 6 minute dance, but it was truly amazing. Considering you've been practicing for so long, it still doesn't mean that any of us could achieve that. Even after 30, 50 years, I don't think I could do what you're doing. You are amazing.
Thank you so much. But that's the passion I have for yoga as a discipline and as an art form, and I'm trying to create an entertaining, inspiring performing art out of yoga so that I can present it to people everywhere.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. You talk about theme-based yoga. So, for instance, at Halloween, you would do...
I would have a special spooky yoga act.
What do? Do you go around booing at everyone?
Well, it's sort of like creepy, spooky gestures with eerie, supernatural-sounding music. And it's kind of...
Talking music, do you have your own musicians?
I do work with live music. I adore performing with live music. I will perform to any genre of music, and I have. And about the only genre of music I haven't yet tackled is hip-hop. And I would
I'm sure you'll discover a way.
I certainly would be perfectly willing to take on that challenge.
I'm sure you would meet
Nobody's asked me yet, but I would certainly give it a try if somebody asked me.
Folks at home, don't forget, don't give up. Amy is very contactable. She will have her website at the end of the show. Also, whenever she's going to be speaking, we're going to have her website and her email right there. I think I may even have your phone number, but if not, they will get in touch with you.
Also, if you Google Amazing Amy Yoga, you'll find me.
That's a very apt phrase, too. And I thought I was understating it when I called you Amazing Amy. Of course, I didn't give you that expression. I Googled you, and I actually found out that's what everyone was calling you. In fact, Amy has performed in so many places. I picked up one of your cards. Another producer friend of mine said, you have to have Amy on your show. I said, no, mine is a basic yoga stretch show, but you are a real inspiration for what people can do eventually if they put their heart into it, they practice as long as you have. Probably it'll take most of us a lot longer than you have. So tell me a little more, what inspired you? I know you did mention you started fairly early, but what is your total inspiration? For instance, today, we had a bit of an audience.
I love performing because, well, it's just in my nature to express myself with my body. I mean, I've been a dancer basically all my life. I also do artwork as well, but my real passion is to express myself with my body, using movement as the art form. And what I like to do, again, it's part of my personality. I tend to be a rather extreme personality. And so my body wanted to do the most extreme things that the human body can do. And I'm always pushing the envelope. I'm always pushing the limits. And whatever my body will permit me to do is what I do. So if my shoulders say, you can't do handstands anymore, I know I'll never be able to do handstands
but
again.
You'll find an adaptation.
But I have found a way, I find ways to move that my body will permit. If my spine tells me, you can't do the bridge anymore. And okay, I can't do the bridge anymore, but I find other ways to move my spine that my body will permit me to
still stay limber.
And so I never stop. I stretch 365 days a year. I work out. I never take a day off. I'm a vegetarian. That helps a lot. I'm not a vegan. I am a vegetarian.
Tell me
I do
the
eat
difference.
seafood.
I
will eat seafood. I will eat things with egg in it.
Right.
I eat minimum dairy, very little dairy.
Right.
Occasionally I'll indulge in a little ice cream because I love ice cream, but that's just a rare treat. Most of the time I am a vegetarian. I will eat seafood. A vegan will never eat seafood.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I didn't really know that.
Or dairy.
Okay.
A vegan is strictly vegetable plants, and that's just too restrictive for me personally.
Right.
But I totally recommend that the entire planet go on a vegetarian diet. We would really help save the entire environment.
Is it
if
true?
Everybody did that.
I mean, you are obviously living proof of a vegetarian diet working very well for you. So, but I've been hearing all kinds of things. Is it actually true that by staying vegetarian, we are able to explore our elasticity more?
I think it absolutely helps. I became a vegetarian in college because the college food was so bad. And after being a vegetarian for 6 months, my parents, took me out to dinner, and I had a steak. And I was so sick afterward, I realized there was no turning back.
Right.
And I've been a big supporter of vegetarianism ever since.
There are a lot of actual yogis out there in yoga schools and yoga masters who believe they really wouldn't this is their belief, and I'm not really endorsing or denying it or anything. I'm just quoting from a few sources that I read that a lot of schools and yogis believe that it really is not necessary to put something dead into a live body, and that's why they stay away from meat. Does that make sense to you?
It makes complete sense to me. And also, I just think that anything with a face that walks on 4 legs, has fur or feathers, is a sentient being, and I just can't eat, sentient beings. I even feel a little uncomfortable eating fish sometimes, but I just couldn't stand such a restricted vegan diet.
You do realize that in some countries, fish head curry is a delicacy. And you can actually see the eyes looking at you.
Oh, yes, I've eaten Chinese food where you see the whole entire fish.
Right.
And it does.
It would bother you.
It does bother me a little bit.
Right. Well, to each his own. Everybody has different tastes in food, and it's what we grow up with. If, for instance, if you've grown up with meat and you've been able to give it up, it's a real achievement right there. There are folks out there who have grown up eating meat and they're able to give it up. That's a big achievement. But for people who have I did not grow up eating meat, but I have tasted meat somewhere along my life, and mostly it was white meat and seafood. Now I'm starting to give it up. I've given it up. I'm starting to go back to fish, but it's sort of off on. But for me, it's not hard to give it up. Do you believe that there's any truth in that?
I think that
is it harder for people who have grown up eating meat to give it up?
I think where there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
And also, I have no problem having a tremendous variety and delicious, satisfying meals on my diet. There are cuisines from India and China that are thousands of years old that have tremendous varieties of vegetarian dishes. You can be very satisfied as a vegetarian. You don't have to be bored on a vegetarian diet at all.
So we have spoken quite a bit about diet. I'm also curious about the sleep aspect. You did mention a little bit of sleep deprivation when you were younger and performing, and that aggravated your problem, and you injured yourself a couple of times. Now, how important is it? How much sleep do you need for doing whatever you're doing? You need a lot of mental focus. You need a lot of energy.
Yes, getting enough rest is an important lesson that I learned very painfully when I lost my shoulder and spine agility. And that was a very painful lesson that I learned about proper nutrition and getting enough rest. So, yes, getting enough rest.
How much sleep do you need?
I personally need the standard 8 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be broken up?
I often do break it up.
Okay.
I sometimes have naps in the afternoon kind of thing.
In yoga, we do believe that an afternoon, when the sun is at its peak between 12 and 3, we should take a 30-minute break, a minimum of 30-minute break. Literally what, I think in some places it's called a siesta.
A siesta,
You need to take a half hour, and you need to sleep of course, your mind doesn't sleep, but your body goes to rest. So it's like shutting down the engine and, giving it some rest. We do have a couple of minutes left. We're probably over, but thank you, Amy. You were wonderful. I hope you will stay on, maybe come back tomorrow.